Funcom released the financial report for its fourth quarter earlier today, saying that it was the most profitable year in the company's history. According to the report, revenues for the fourth quarter increased by 166% versus the same period last year, adding that revenues for 2018 increased by 46% to $33,776 compared to 2017. Cash flow from operating activities for the quarter increased by 41% as well. CEO Rudi Kasei attributes the growth to successful launches of Conan, Exiles and Mutant Year Zero on DUNE, which he says established Funcom as a reputable publisher of third-party games. In addition to releasing its financials, Funcom also announced that it had entered an exclusive partnership with Entertainment to create games based on the United Nations intellectual property, as detailed in a separate statement. Funcom says that the legendary partnership is a 6-year deal for a minimum of 3 United Nations games on PS and consoles. One of them will supposedly be an open-world multiplayer title slated to enter pre-production at Funcom's Oslo studio in late 2019. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, GLAAD, has announced the nominees for this year's GLAAD Media Awards, a list that, for the very first time in the show's 30-year run, features a category for video games. 5 titles have been nominated for the Outstanding Video Game Award, a category that seeks to celebrate interactive experiences that include authentic and impactful LGBTQ characters or storylines. Those 5 games are as follows. A more in-depth look at why these 5 games were selected for GLAAD's inaugural video game category can be found on the organization's blog. The winner is set to be revealed during this year's Sundance Film Festival on March 28th and May 4th, alongside those from television, film, music, and other forms of media. The organization has also made a separate post addressing recent concerns over the controversial DLC for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which initially locked players into a heterosexual romance, despite allowing them to choose the sexuality of the game's main character up until that point. GLAAD notes that it has been in communication with Ubisoft about the DLC and that the developer has, following feedback from the LGBTQ community, announced it will change the add-on to better reflect the nature of the relationship for players selecting a non-romantic storyline, and will ensure the paths that players experience mirror the choices they make in-game in future releases. Asking a game maker what the greatest game of all time is, and there's a decent chance they will say Tetris. Ask anyone how you organize an exciting, authentic competitive event around Tetris and you will probably get some blank stares, unless you are at the 2019 Game Developers Conference, where you will probably get a lot of strong opinions and some suggestions to go see the classic Tetris World Championship talk. Specifically, you will want to check out Tetris World Championship Building Explosive Esports on 8-bit Nintendo, a GD 2019 business marketing track talk all about the genesis and inner workings of the classic Tetris World Championship, which has grown since its 2010 debut to become one of the biggest modern Tetris events. Presented by veteran consultant and esports commentator Chris Tang, currently a senior game designer at Xbox Games. This session explores how the CTWCF RM18 makes the most of odd things, like nest dashes, quirky kill screens, ultra technology, a passionate community low in toxicity, and high in intellect, attachment to growing gaming events, explosive memes, and having an amazing role model for a champion. This is a great opportunity to learn how the positive esports culture around the CTWC was cultivated, and how it reflects back to strength and value of both the event and the modern community of participants. It's a feel-good story with useful takeaways for any sports staff, so do not miss it. Further details on this talk and many more are available now on THEGDC 2019 session scheduler. There you can begin to lay out your GD 2019, which takes place March 18th through the 22nd at the newly renovated Moscone Center in San Francisco. Bring your team to GD, register a group of 10 or more and save 10% on conference passes. Learn more. For more details on GDC 2019 visit the show's official website, or subscribe to regular updates via Facebook, Twitter, or Gamasutra and GD are sibling organizations under parent company Funcom. As of December, a new Japanese legal amendment has made it illegal to resell digital game keys without explicit consent from software makers. The new set of rules are part of a revision to the Unfair Competition Prevention Act, which now recognizes data, information recorded in electromagnetic record, as a target for protection by law. While e-reselling has been somewhat of a gray area in the industry, it looks as though this revision will have more of an impact in models, since it specifically targets distribution of more tools and services. For example, CyberGadget's PlayStation 4 Save Editor is now discontinued on the official site, although it still seems to be available through other retailers. However, it's likely that sites that resell keys for discounts or facilitate reselling between individuals will now be affected too. While the official information on the new amendments is currently only available in Japanese, different translations of the three acts have now been banned, including, according to the translated information, punishments range from civil measures, such as claims for damages, to criminal penalties, including fines of up to $5,036,000 USD, up to at least 5 years in prison, or both. A couple weeks ago, the devs behind Space Building Sim, Astroneer, pushed the game out of early access, completing the game's 3-year mission to discover new life and new civilizations. To mark the game's second release, some of the developers at Systemera Softworks are hopping on the GD Twitch channel today at 3 p.m. to answer your questions about the game's design and development. If you are curious about the making of Astroneer, you can drop by Twitch chat and ask the developers whatever you want. And if you want more great developer interviews and curated DD talks, you can slide on over to the DD Twitch channel and click the follow button to see more video transcript. Patreon vote topic results. www.patreon.com/. One question I get on a fairly regular basis during my game development career is, what is a metagame? There are actually two kinda similar, but pretty distinct things we refer to as metagame, and in this edition of Violence, a series about video games and video game design, I am going to talk about both and explain what they are. Metagame is a term that can be broadly defined as a game beyond the game. However, depending on the context, it can mean one of two things. First, let's talk about the mechanical metagame. Every game has a set of systems, mechanics, entities and loops that can be defined as the core gameplay. For example, Hearthstone's card gameplay is the battle between you and the opponent with the chosen class art deck. In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the main gameplay is going around the open world, taking and completing missions where you engage with the core mechanics of stealth, navigation and combat. There are different kind of missions, from assassination to chase ones, from main ones to side ones, but they all utilize the core gameplay one way or another. Metagame systems, however, do not. They are looping systems that wrap themselves around the core gameplay. They can affect it, but they do not take part in it. Let's take Hearthstone's daily quest system. For example, each day you receive a quest. The quest gives you gold. You can use that gold to make a purchase. You will lift a card pack.